Yeah, I want to talk about Donald Trump and possible impeachment. I know everybody says it's a little bit early to talk about impeaching somebody who hasn't even taken office yet. But if you look at what he's done already since he's, won the election, it's been pretty amazing. The first thing he continues to do, and looks like no end in sight, is he's blurring the public and private life and self-aggrandizement. I mean, it seems like the guy inevitably is trying to prosper from, his winning of the election down to making his kids part of his decision-making plan and making them part of the high security clearance that they need in order to be part of the inner circle in the presidency. I mean, that's all clear violations of the public and private world. And Donald Trump is the king of that. I mean, he's never, ever, ever separated himself from his businesses, and even since he's been president-elect, he hasn't seemed to give any kind of direction in that way. So he just continues to go down that thing of making sure that every decision that he makes has some benefit for him in the private world. And that's a very clear violation of the public trust, is to continue to try to give yourself a benefit in all these decisions. And he is. I mean, by making his kids part of his decision-making, inner circle of the presidency is nothing more than self-aggrandizement and making himself prosper by his position. And people were, but the fact they couldn't see that is amazing to me. The second thing that he's doing, which is amazing, is the nepotism. Giving his friends and his family positions in the government. I mean, his kids. The one thing I can respect about Donald Trump is it seems like he gets along with his kids pretty well. I find that amazing, given the arrogance of this guy. But, for whatever's going on there, I mean, they seem to like the guy, which I find that to Trump's benefit. But come on, man, have you ever seen such a nauseating group of people than his kids? I mean, these are people that have never done anything in the world except work for daddy's company. I mean, that's pretty easy to do. Get old enough to work for daddy's company and then all of a sudden make probably a pretty nice salary, working for their dad, who already has plenty of money. I mean, there was not much challenge in that. I mean, that was a pretty easy deal. So now because of that, they get high security clearances. They probably get prominent positions. They get to be in the inner circle of the government. I mean, all this stuff is nepotism at its highest. And to me, it's just, screams to be impeached or charges brought against you. And then the next thing I'd like to talk about is the fact that the guy hasn't even taken office yet, and he's already committed fraud, or actually settled a fraud case. So he admitted to being, committing some degree of fraud in his Trump University. Amazing that a guy that hasn't even taken office yet, immediately after he wins the presidency, the first thing that he basically happens is that he settles a fraud case for $25 million. You don't settle $25 million fraud cases unless there's some serious fraud. I mean, that's a lot of money to settle with. So he defrauded a lot of people for that to happen. And now the next thing goes from settling fraud cases to the United States presidency. It's amazing, just absolutely amazing. And like I say, this guy is the king of arrogance. He's the king of self-aggrandizement. He's the king of making himself, giving himself positions that favor him in his businesses. And the other thing I'd like to address is the fact that this guy won the presidency based on the fact he was such a great businessman. He made all this money, and he can run America just like he ran his businesses. And America's going to prosper, and all the Americans are going to prosper just like he did during businesses. The only problem with that is we don't even know how long the guy was running in the red. I mean, he never released his taxes, and it seems to me that he lost a lot of money in the casino business, of which he took huge losses for. And for all we know, because he hasn't made public his tax returns, the guy's been running in the red for a long time. So, for a guy running a business in the red forever and a day, and like I said, we don't know because he's never released his returns. Now he turns to now he's got the control of the U.S. government. So maybe he runs the government just like he runs his businesses, runs them in the red and doesn't release any of the records or any of the information. So, well, like I say, I don't think it's going to be long. Michael Moore predicted this. He's been pretty accurate so far. So I don't think it's long before Trump is impeached. So thank you very much for watching.